Hello, welcome back to JT Supercoach. I have some more bad news for you. 1,196 last week. Average is probably around the 1,250s. I'm down 9,384 ranks into the 49,000s. I've never done this poorly at Supercoach. I'm going to go over some of my previous seasons and as well as go over who's been killing my season this season. And then I'll go over the trades that I have in store and the captains as well. So 14 million in team value looks all right. I do still have two boosts in the bank, so it's not all looking down, but it's looking quite bad. And this is just so happens to be the season I actually start YouTubing, which is great for me. Love that. This is my graph from my first year. So 2024, I've actually come 7,695th. So I think I was toying around the 1,000, 2,000s up until round 21 ish. Had a pretty poor start. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't know that Team List Tuesdays was a thing up until maybe round 4 or 5. Yeah. If you guys are just starting out as well, Team List Tuesday on Tuesday at 4 p.m., the entire team list for the weekend gets released on the NRL website. And from there, you get to decide which players will actually play and who you're actually interested in looking at. So, really, all the analysis should start after Tuesday, 4 p.m., unless you're a bit psycho and you want to get started early and you love looking at numbers and love changing plans back around, like me. But yeah, choose Team List Tuesday, 4 p.m. So that went all right up until I ran out of trades at the early 20 round mark. And then I just slipped down. As you could see, Payne Haas got injured, couldn't replace him. Learn my lesson in 2025. I managed the trades quite a lot better, I think. Yeah, just basically improved week on week up until round 26, where I was sitting out of the top 100. And then I actually just snuck in. I actually looped to get I looped instead of just letting Killary get the captain. I lost out on probably around 20 ranks. So I probably could have been 60th but I had never been in the top 100 before. So I sort of just wanted to loop my score, get into the top 100 for sure, and see how we go next year. And this is the year I'm in the 49,000s in week 6. So below, actually above where I was sitting in my rookie year, but definitely below where I was sitting where I came 80th last year. We're going to bounce back though, as long as I find who's killing my season. So I think I've identified that Cowboys have been the main culprits. Tom Chester, who I sold after during his 1 week suspension. Helam Lukey, who just keeps on performing, high base, 80-minute guy. Trey Mooney, who has now just started to peter off, but I never had him for the early high scores. Jackson Purdue, he's been killing me at the 5/8 position. Cody Walker has coughed up 230s earlier in the season when Jackson was just going 180s. So he's done 6 games for 162 points. Jenkins has done 6 games, 625 points. And I have people like Brian Toto who've played 6 games for 304 points. Reed Marnie, 6 games for 206 points. Kiraz, 5 games for 325 points. So really, the 400s, 450s is a good range for your players that you want points. It looks like I own almost the top 15 players in Supercoach. I did have Haas and I did have Farnworth earlier on, have just traded them out to free up the money at the moment, but I'll be looking to get them back in soon. I've luckily picked up Simi Sasangi. Cody Walker's been doing well again, and I think I'll get rid of him for a second. Look, Munster's coming down in price, and there's some other 5/8 options. I don't think I'll have enough to go straight to Purdue, but yeah, because Cody goes up and down, 5 games for 318 points hasn't really been ideal for my 5/8 number one, 5/8 first position in strength. So let's see, name and shame. Cowboys. So early on in the season, the Cowboys did not look great. They didn't look like a team who knew how to attack, but it looks like the matchups that they've been getting, which is why I started with Drinkwater, have been more important than the team form trend. So the team form trend for the first 2 3 weeks was quite poor. Did not look like they were going to attack well. Drinkwater got a rib injury, which he was managing. Then they just turned it all around, beat the Storm, and the points have just been flowing on attack. And Cowboys have always been an attacking focused team, never really defensive. But yeah, just take a look at the matchups that are coming up, and once you have about 3 weeks into the season, you can sort of slowly identify which teams you want to target for what matchups. Number two, definitely Toto. So Toto is an elite winger. He is maybe the best winger of all time. Penrith was hot as all hell at the season start. Just did not get any ball. Jenkins and McLean were getting all the ball. All the ball was going down left. Last year, all the ball went down left. Toto had high base, but didn't score many tries. And I was hoping for a reversal. So I think hoping for a reversal is not as strong as just playing what you see, right? So I should have hopped off maybe round two, round three, seeing that he doesn't get much ball. Instead of looking for a reversal in trends, I'll get onto it in point four, but you definitely want to follow the crowd for more of the time than going your own option. Sit starts. So sit starts relates to Tom Chester. For the week that Tom Chester was on the bye, I had a lot of people. Sorry, Tom Chester was, I believe he was banned for one game for a high tackle, or had a bunch of bunnies on the bye. I did not plan properly for that. I dropped Tom Chester because I needed people to play, and I needed to not. I didn't really want to start Setutu or Feimani. In hindsight, I probably just should have just copped the lower score. I felt like I was behind, so I wanted to make some moves. I don't think you should drop cheapies for a better sit start for 1 week, because your cheapies can outperform. Your cheapies can go big, so you're only selling for a percent chance of a better score. So, yeah, if it's just one guy for 1 week, probably hold on to them. Um, it just looked like there were a lot of cheapies, a lot of money floating around. But yeah, Chester does look like the premium money creation option, which I don't have now, which is quite sad. Jump on. So, number four, jump on late to popular players. Don't feel too bad doing this, I think. So, if the popular player is doing well, the form is good, the team's playing well, I think that, yeah, as I said before, if you're hoping for a reversal somewhere else, so a pod is a point of difference. So you probably should not have too many pods compared to people who are going well. You're looking for a reversal when you pick up a pod who's maybe a fallen gun, who hasn't scored that much recently, but maybe has a good run coming up. They're a bit cheaper. They've played well in the past. Like one of the traps you would see this year was Jermaine Hopgood. He's played well in the past, or Angus Crichton. They've all played well in the past, but this year they have not shown that they are pumping out Supercoach points. And if you're looking for that reversal, you're going to get it wrong more often than if you go with the guy who is hot right now. So you can, it's easy to fall into the trap where you think that you'll zag while others zig, and you'll come out ahead because the popular guy will get injured maybe, and your guy will start going better. But it's all the signs do not point to that at this point, and if that happens, that's more likely to not happen than it is to happen. So if you take more of those bets, you're just going to bleed out. So I've put the percentages at 85 and 15%. So maybe 85% stick with the pack, 15% go away from the pack. So 85% listen to what I'm saying, 15% go your own way. But if you do try to do too much yourself, the consensus usually has things somewhat right. Yeah, so don't go too far off. Mitch Moses was another one. Mitch Moses, I should have realized that halfback has always been a two-man game between Cleary and Hines. Start with one of them. Cleary has always been a little better, But yeah, pedigree in specific positions, don't mess with it too much, especially if there are people who are head and shoulders above the pack. Drinkwater Ponga Turbo. So this is the glue guy of the team. Drinkwater is always been the glue guy for the Cowboys. He's always been the guy who makes attacking plays happen. Same with Ponga and Turbo. The glue guy does not change for your team. Ponga's team was just going very poorly last year, meaning that his scores were going poorly. Um, the fact that this team is built around this one guy is usually who's usually a fullback or maybe a halfback. It's difficult for a team to just move away from that guy. You can that is where you can sort of rely on pedigree that this guy should score quite a lot this year. I think the one exception we're sort of seeing is Tedesco, and that's taken a whole nother. It's taken Daly Cherry Evans going to the Roosters, taking up more ball, and a that sort of destabilization for his scoring to take a hit. And his scoring looks like it's coming back soon. So always try and buy a glue guy if they're lowly priced. And Helam Luki, this was just quite an obvious buy. 80 minutes with base stats. I should have recognized that after round two, and that's an easy buy. So that one's on me. I will go over this week's players that I'm looking at in order of preference for me. Scott Drinkwater, Jacob Preston, Mark Nawanga James Tedesco, Jerome Luai, Jacob Kraz, Sam Walker, Lockie Galvin, and Munster. So this list is sort of based on cash, sort of based on points. Drinkwater has just been overperforming. Last year, he was about a 75 scoring guy. This year, apart from the first two games, he's been a 90 scoring guy. He's priced around 808k. He plays all the games for the next round, up until round 13, I believe. Yeah, if you have money, I would move a fullback to him, maybe Sua. There's a strong case to keep Sua as well, but yeah, at the moment I only have two fullbacks. So I'll try to look at him, but I'll try and look at him. But I think with the trades I've got at the moment, I'd prefer to move Cleary up to my halfback and then have my flex be someone playable instead of Ethan Sanders versus the Melbourne Storm. So Drinkwater's probably off the cards for me personally. Jacob Preston has good matchups coming up. Bulldogs have a good run. I'll go over it soon. He's just scored a lot, so his break even's quite low. And yeah, this is the part of the season where Jacob Preston can get attacking stats. He's got a base around 50, so not the highest of a 2RF, but yeah, he has shown that it's not a fluke him going to the line. And Galvin and Preston, the combo has looked deadly this season a few times. I would say that this is the strongest case for getting on Bulldogs for the whole season so far. As in their run has come good. They're looking not too bad. Mark Nawangitawase is around 690k. Come down to probably where his minimum will be. He loves scoring tries. I think his break even is around 30. So he got 81 on the weekend. I would buy him. I don't think he's going to drop much more. It's a chance to get a season keeper into your team. He's got a decent run coming up, and I'll go over the run soon. Similar story around Tedesco. He's come down in price. I just think that fullback, the spaces are more competitive. For center wing, you have more slots. So I think getting a keeper in, someone who's probably better than like Kale Iro level, at 690k, that's probably something you should jump on right now. Luai. So Luai can probably be a 5'8" up until you get a Jackson Purdue, or I mean even Cameron Munster doesn't look like a 5'8" right now. Yeah, he's got low break even. Although his big game was in round one, which is a bit annoying because he will not gain as much cash had it been round two. He won't get that high score in his rolling average for 2 weeks. That's why I've got him number 5 on the preference list. Kiraz, much the same. I think Bulldogs is a time to get on. He doesn't look as strong as he used to at the moment, but he's nursing a shoulder injury. His body might turn around. He finds himself on the left wing, which is great, and the Bulldogs come into a good run. So I think he'll probably be the guy who once maybe probably average just under a try a week for the next few weeks, and probably get you 70 to 80, high 70s, until his base comes back. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but he definitely was the base that beast of last year, highest base, and he was just on the right wing, so he didn't find himself with that many tries. But yeah, this year I think left wing is definitely where you want to be on the Bulldogs team. So we're just waiting for his base to come back as he nurses his injury. Sam Walker has come down in price. Yeah, I think mostly attractive because of the price. It's still difficult to see who is going to get the attacking stats between him and Tedesco from week to week. It just helps that he is goal kicking. Yeah, not a bad buy. Lockie Galvin, I think a lot of people don't have him on their radar, but yeah, the Galvin Preston combo, you could run both, and you could actually just eat up the competition if they do go crazy from a few weeks. Yeah, he runs the ball, so he gets run meters as points. Yeah, I think he's going to have renewed confidence after beating the Panthers last week. He's 580k ish. I don't see him underperforming at that price. Yeah, Galvin is a weak buy. And then Munster, Melbourne Storm have looked quite out of form, but Munster's just got the pedigree. I would say now is getting towards Origin, so I would buy him now, and then maybe the next 2 weeks, yes. After that, probably not. It's too close to Origin. You're going to trade him in and out. Just going to be a waste of trades, basically. There's other options, but a weak buy for this week. So on my sell list, I have Reed Marnie, Jonah Pezzett, Kale Iro, Joe Chan, and maybe Macassini. So not that many people you really want to sell this week. Reed Marnie, Jonah Pezzett's not playing. Iro is on the buy. He's also at a low price, so maybe you don't sell. Joe Chan is playing, but his break even's high, but he's next to Jerome Hughes, and the Storm they're probably looking at a bounce back. It's just whether he has timeshare coming up if Sean Bloor and Lissati are fighting for the second row spot and Joe Chan is underperforming. Maybe he gets hooked at halftime. Yeah, Joe Chan is a bit of a question mark as well. And Macassini, he has okay base. I think it's just if your center wing spots are being if there's contention for your center wing slots, he might be the one to go because Feimani and Tu and Chester are all making money. Macassini is not at the moment, although Macassini's base is probably on the better side of those guys. You could look to sell Macassini. He's 300 and something K. You've made 100 maybe. Yeah, not too many to sell. And I think it's just important to try and have your slots keep ticking money over. So not just like your cheapies making money, but it's maybe your Jerome Luais who have a low break even, or Mark on a 30 break even. These guys can be keepers as well as make you money, and then maybe 3-4 weeks down the track they get injured and you've made 150k. You have to sell, and that's keeping your money ticking up. If your player's not playing, you can't keep your money ticking up. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Looking at this, we have the draw coming up for the next 8 weeks. I've identified Bulldogs, Melbourne, Manly, New Zealand, Penrith, and Sydney Roosters for having decent runs. I would say for all of them, they start this week, except for Roosters, which starts next week with St. George. Manly doesn't have a long one. It's probably just 2 games into some hard games. So maybe Manly your chance was last week to get on. Bulldogs, Kiraz, Preston, Galvin. So Yeah, I think in the long run, I'd probably prefer Kiraz over Preston and Galvin, and they do have a 4 game long run of good matchups. So these are in order of my preferences. So Melbourne, uh, so the players are in order of my preferences from the teams. But for Melbourne, I would prefer Farlongo than Munster. Manly, I prefer Turbo than Homole. New Zealand, I prefer Jackson Ford and then Lecker. Penrith, I prefer Cleary, then Jenkins, then McLean. And then for the Roosters, I prefer Mark, then Sam Walker, then Teddy, then Angus Crichton. I think those are the main names that you should be looking at from those teams, just based on how much work they get through, based on where the ball goes, and who's going to get the attacking stats, basically. So, uh, yeah, New Zealand probably have the strongest upcoming run. The next 3 is Gold Coast, Dolphins, and then Para. Those are probably the 3 weakest defensive teams in a row. But then you have the bye afterwards. I did mention last week as well that although the draw is quite important, the Dragons had a good draw. They had 4 really easy targets in a row, but the team form was just a limiting factor. So maybe you can look at a Penrith and a Bulldogs and a Melbourne more strongly than the others. Although New Zealand has been going well, Sydney Roosters have been completing high. All of these teams are actually quite decent. Yeah, so those are the ranked options from the next few with a good 3 to 5 round run. Now I want to go over the season and pedigree gun options. So a mix of which players have in previous years had a good pedigree of scoring points, as well as I've added the players who this year have come out scored really well, and I've ordered them in the total average per round for this season. So you'll see Twal is above Terrell May because he's scored higher than him. He's scored. Sorry, he's scored the highest total. So it's from total points created this season. These I've gone through the list and I've picked only the ones I really consider as the gun options, based on what I've seen from them in previous years, as well as their output from this year. So Twal, Terrell May, Haas, Ford, and Carrigan are my options for front row. This doesn't mean that Twal's the best. I would say if I had to pick 2, I would pick Haas and then Terrell May. It's just on the total points they've produced so far. And these are basically the whole list of options I'd consider for your end team, your playing players. These are the people I want. So from 2RF, I'm looking at Kai Pierce Paul, Hudson Young, Atuvalu Lisati, Finafuyaki, Hilam Luki, Jacob Preston, Hamole, Jaden Sewer, Ryan Couchman, Dylan Lucas, Kickout, and Angus Crichton. So for centre wing, Jenkins has produced the most points this year. Latrell, Sasangi, Farnworth, Dom Young, who's performed well in previous years. Purdue, really performing well this year. McLean, Marky Mark, Valentine Holmes, whose past performance has been really good. Dragons are a bit weak this year, but he does still goal kick. He's moving back to the left center as well, which is a better spot, I would say, for scoring. Yeah, but it's just tough this year. Isako has scored well 2 years ago, and the right hand side this year is getting a little more ball than it was last year. So Isako's not bad. Mazu has been a gun of past years. Kale Iro and Kiraz was probably the best last year out of all the center wings. Fullback, Suafalono, Ponga, Turbo, Drinky, Edwards, Teddy, and Walsh. Edwards went well at periods last year. Ponga has been a gun. Drinky has been very solid constantly. Teddy's been probably the best option for the past 2 years. Walsh is hot and cold, went on a really hot run end of last year, and Sewers just went on a really hot run at the start of this year. So I would look to get 3 of those guys for my end of season fullback trio. I've decided not to go for hooker and halfback and the other smaller positions, just because people probably know. Hooker, I would say it's Harry Grant and Blake Brayley above the rest. And for halfback, it would be Cleary and then Hines above the rest. So they're relatively simple positions. The outlook for the next 4 rounds, I've decided to note down some players that I'm looking at. Lisati is being listed that he may come back round 8, so next round, um, from his injury. Ryan Catchman comes back from his suspension after one more round. Tedesco come down in price. Iro come down in price, and it will be off the bye next week. Kiraz has come down in price. Good run. Terrell May has come down in price. Has also come down a bit in minutes. 12 takes quite a lot of minutes, almost 80. But you could look at buying Terrell May and Casey McLean, who is serving a suspension at the moment. Round 9, Penrith and Melbourne. Any people from those teams I'd be looking at. Round 10 or 11, Dylan Lucas has a good run. I think he might still be injured round 10. Maybe he comes back round 11. But he's low in price, proven gun of the past. He's running into St. George, Gold Coast, a bye, and then Para. So 3 out of 4 really good matchups. And on the right there, that was my graphic from last week. The good teams to target for scoring points and the good teams to play against to actually score points. So, yeah, the hard teams over there you can see Penrith and Tigers, and the hard teams to actually score is actually Titans and Broncos. Probably has changed a bit from Kinney going crazy last weekend, but let's go on to my trades. So my trades for this week, I'm looking at moving Ethan Sanders out. He's got a breakout of 25. He's up against Melbourne Storm, who's probably just going to lock in on defense real hard. And Hines is on the bye, so I don't really want to have Sanders and Cleary both playing. I want to get Sanders out. I want to play Mark versus the Knights. He's at 36 break even, so as I said, he's probably at his lowest he's going to be the whole season. Ball always goes right as well. And then I'll move him to the center wing afterwards. Probably get rid of one cheapie or maybe Toto. For vice captain and captain, I've got Nathan Cleary as vice captain against the Dolphins, and I've got Latrell captain against St. George, who just look not great at the moment. And yeah, I think that this is the clawback, I would say. I'm once again putting my faith in Toto to do something to get some ball, which is a little worrying, but yeah, he's gotten, with a try, he'd probably get 70 something, which I'm not too fussed about. I also am below my girlfriend for the first time in terms of total points. She is beating me. She started with Cleary, I believe, and I think she now has Cleary and Hines as well. Just made better moves than me, honestly. So, congrats to her. And good luck, everyone, with your super coaching. As you can see, my team doesn't look exactly how I've been trading. As I've been telling you, I've been trading. My thoughts change a lot between Tuesday and Thursday, and even across the weekend. I do tend to tinker with my trades. So you'll see that I haven't got rid of Reed Marnie. I haven't got rid of Miles Martin. I got Miles Martin. I don't think I intended to, but yeah, I think I'll stick with this for now because I don't really want to play Sanders. So I've traded Fafita for Lasati, and I've traded Sanders for Mark. Those are my final 2 trades, and I've stopped using my boost. So I think I've max traded with 3 boosts up until now. I do really need to hit the brakes. I think money's coming in. I think that I do need to get rid of some of these injured players, but Ryan Couchman and Lasati should be earning me money in from next round onwards. So it's really just Pezzett and Marnie that I need to deal with. But yeah, that's my team for now. Everybody, good luck super coaching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.